My mom's so nice, but she just, she's involved. She came to a show once, just once. She came to a show, and the only notes she had afterwards were, Samantha, I just want to remind you that you don't need to be vulgar to be funny, okay? It's like, Jennifer, thank you. While we're talking, I just want to remind you that you don't need to be a bitch to be my mom. Like, I promise I will love you no matter how nice you decide to start being to me. I'm here for you, Jen. My mom's not a big fan of me because I got fired again. Emphasis on the again. Getting really good at it. The last one really wasn't my fault because I called in sick and then my boss said she was afraid I was unreliable, but like I was calling in really consistently. Like what's more reliable than that? But I had to go interview, so I needed to go find a pair of like smart business lady interview pants. You know, those like slightly flared, black Ally McBeal pants that you like inexplicably wore to a middle school band concert. Yeah, those are our power pants. But I went to go buy a pair of those and I realized that none of the women's business pants have actual pockets on them. You know, there's just like a few stitches, a seam that alludes to a pocket. You know, much like our rights allude to equality. But you know, if you try to use it, there's not much depth. It's crazy. It's very frustrating. Because whoever designed these pants, and you know it was a man, they just were like, oh, silly little business lady. What did you think you were going to put in those pockets? A livable wage? And a lot of dudes don't get why it's a problem. They're like, what do you mean? I don't understand. The world's full of opportunities for me. They're all right here on my cargo shorts. I'm an accountant, but I'm dressed for fly fishing for some reason. So frustrating. It doesn't even make sense that you guys get the pockets, because really when it comes down to it, as animals, males have always been the hunters, and females have always been the gatherers. But how are we supposed to gather when none of our clothes have pockets? Just want to be what you want. Which was my whole Tinder bio. Just kidding, it was one word, it was no. And it was not respected. I moved to the South from Chicago a few years ago, and it's been pretty cool, but I gotta admit it's a little hard moving to a new city as an adult. Because by the time I moved here, most of my peer group had already been through like 3 baby showers. So that's like a type of trauma bonding you cannot infiltrate as a adult. But my boyfriend's from Duluth, so he has like 7 best friends he grew up with. And the thing about people down here is you all have 7 best friends you grew up with. Because nobody leaves Georgia. Like I say I moved here, but I know I live here now. This is where I'll die. You can't get out because you're comfortable in the fall and the winter, it's all cozy and cool, and then the summer hits and you're like, and then you're trapped in whatever apartment you live in for the next year. But my boyfriend has 7 best friends from growing up, which means if we ever get married, he's gonna have 7 groomsmen. And then I will just have, you know, my friend Brittany from college. And then they're all gonna have to take turns walking her down the aisle. And it's gonna take forever. So hard. I did actually meet my boyfriend on Tinder, which is very impressive. Because usually that's just where you meet your killer. I mean, he still could be, I don't know, like statistically, but it's good. We had our first date on Christmas Day, because we're Jewish. It's pretty common for Jews, pretty uncommon for anyone else who is not also cousins. So we're really proud of that. I did like online dating though, because there's no background check. And I think there should be, not even for like fact checking, but really just to ask people, is that really what you want to put on your profile? Because the things that I saw, like there was this one dude I went out with, and in his bio he said he worked with animals. Great. But then we went out on a date, and I found out he was an exterminator. So he didn't really work with the animals, as much as he actively worked against the animals. It's like saying you're in the army, but not telling you which side, you know? My favorite thing on Tinder are the guys that would just have a picture of them holding a kid, and then the only thing in their bio would be, "Don't worry, she's just my niece." I'm like, okay, who are you trying to convince? Like me or the court? I don't know. Which is super creepy, because again, going back to the animal thing, I don't know why guys think that's good. I'm gonna see him holding a baby, and then like, my lady parts was turned into pudding. It's pudding. Should see a doctor, but it doesn't make any sense because, again, as an animal, I see you holding this baby I don't know. That baby does not look like me. I'm gonna try to eat that baby. Don't do it. But I went out with a guy for a while that was a little younger than me, which I thought would be sexy, but it turns out it was creepy. I thought it was gonna be like a hot graduate, like Mrs. Robinson situation, but it ended up being more like Mrs. Gordon, which is my mom's name. I know, he was overcompensating a lot. Like he's trying to be really masculine to make up for the age gap. He always say weird stuff like, "Oh yeah, what's my name?" And then I'd have to be like, I don't know. Like just because I'm older than you doesn't mean I have all the answers. I can't just tell you who you are. Get to class. Because you have to meet younger guys on Tinder because they don't, they can't get into bars. Isn't it fun to see a female brother? really breaking that glass ceiling. It was legal. He was 20. I don't know. My sister married her high school sweetheart. That's also pretty gross, right? Yeah. Super weird. Just like think about who you liked when you were 16. Yeah? Now imagine you still want to have sex with them. It's like, gross, they're 16, dude. Even I wouldn't do that. But my sister married her first boyfriend, so now we're stuck with this guy in our family who has his own name tattooed in barbed wire across his bicep. But wait, it doesn't go all the way around because the inside hurt too much. Stop. Which is appalling because my sister has given birth to 2 of his children. And if she can endure that pain, then maybe you could put the final G in your name, Greg. Just walking around with GRE on your arm. Everyone thinks you're super hype up grad school. We all know you're never gonna go. My sister heard that joke once and she was like, "Hey, that's my husband, okay?" And I was like, "I know, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous." She didn't like that joke either. But in my defense, I didn't write either of those jokes. Her husband, Greg, did. On his body forever.